Hello everyone, Joe here with 360 Comics, and today I'm showing you 10 of the best comic books that I've found in dollar bins over the last few months, and some of them get pretty pricey. If you haven't done so yet, definitely head over to our George Perez tribute video after this one. I'll put a link down below for you to get there easily and enter our George Perez giveaway. You can win this copy of Batman 442 with George Perez artwork. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, like that video, and leave a comment below. And while you're at it, you might as well like this video and leave a comment down below as well. I'll be picking a winner for this giveaway Sunday night on Instagram Live. Also, speaking of Instagram Live, this Friday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing a claim sale, so come on over, hang out, and maybe you'll see something that you'd like. And now back to the topic at hand. I'm talking about dollar bins. These are my favorite places to look for a good deal on comics because they all cost $1, and there are hidden gems. They're buried treasure. There are books worth more than $1 among all the filler issues and 90s mass-printed crap. You just gotta find it. You gotta sift through a little bit. Be patient, take your time, and you will find the good books as I have here. You just gotta keep your eyes open. Anyway, we're gonna go through these books in ascending value order, starting with some books that are kind of in the $7 to $10 range, working our way up to significantly higher than that. You got to stick around to the end because there's a real awesome rare 90s book for you to check out. I bet you never thought anyone would ever find an Action Comics #1 in a dollar bin, but look right here, I did. Unfortunately, it's not 1939's Action Comics #1 from Volume 1 of that title, the first appearance of Superman. It is the reboot from the 2000s, the New 52 run. It's still an Action Comics #1, and for that reason, this book holds a value of about $7. I don't really see it sell for more than that, but a cool little pickup and a way for you to say, I own an Action Comics #1. Interestingly enough, this is from Volume 2. There was no intermediate volume between the 1939 run that lasted all the way until the 2000s and this one. I'm pretty surprised because there's often reboots along the way, especially from Marvel, but DC held out a little bit longer before rebooting stuff, and here we got Action Comics #1. Again, not the good one, but still, about $7. Next up, still in that $7 to $10 range. This one a little bit more. We've got Fantastic Four $3.95. Now, this one is not a key other than it being a coveted cover, probably because the appearance of Wolverine, a fan favorite character from the X-Men. Just a great 90s book, an awesome cover featuring not only Wolverine, but the Thing, and this big payback at the bottom. I think people just love this cover, and for that reason, this 90s book is worth about $7 to $10. And anytime I see this in a dollar bin, I pick it up. I've actually found a couple copies. I'm still looking for a nice high grade one or a newsstand or something like that to keep for myself. Yeah, these are great to have for a Fantastic Four collector, a Wolverine collector, and a 90s comic collector. Next up is a book that kind of has value all over the place. I've seen it go for as high as like $25, but most of the time it's kind of in the $10 to $15 range. We've got DC's Robin #126. Really awesome cover. It's almost like an homage. Maybe it is an homage to Spider-Man 101, the Todd McFarlane cover. The first cover we see where Spider-Man has returned to the blue and red suit after Venom appears in the two issues before. But we've got a key right here. This is the first appearance of Stephanie Brown as Robin. She takes over for a short period of time for Tim Drake, who's the Robin in this run, and she does her own thing. She normally goes by the name Spoiler, if you're not familiar with the character. Character who teams up very frequently with Robin. And yeah, really great cover in my opinion. And I'm a big Robin guy. Stephanie Brown's probably my least favorite because she really doesn't have a lot to go on as far as stories go. But she's a great character on her own without the name Robin, and this cover just kills it. Again, $10 to $15 book, a great key to pick up, and for just $1, I am grabbing this one every time. This next book is kind of in the same value range, that $10 to $15. I've seen it as high as like 20 or 25 sometimes again, but most of the time it's going for kind of 10, 12, 15. We've got X-Men number 25. Now this is number 25 from the 90s X-Men run, affectionately named the Jim Lee run because he did start the run doing art for the first 11 issues. This is after Jim Lee had left. And there is some key significance to this book as well. Magneto removes Wolverine's skeleton using his mutant power. Wolverine's skeleton obviously made out of a metal, adamantium. Magneto having the power of controlling metal with magnetism. So a pretty cool story plot line they put in there. Now, you got to be careful about this book because there are multiple different variants to this one. This is the standard one, kind of, like I said, in the $10 to $15 range, maybe a little bit more. But there are some rarer ones to look out for. There is one with gold lettering at the top. I think I want to say that's the second print, but I'm not sure. And it's worth a little bit more than this one, around like $50 probably. In a 9.8, it's worth a couple hundred, actually. But raw copy is kind of in the $50 range. There's also a version which the bottom half is black and white. It's called the half sketch variant. And the hologram's a little bit different on that one as well. This regular printing features Gambit on the hologram, but the version that has black and white on the bottom, that one features Magneto. So look out for that one. That one's more in like the $75-$80 range for a raw copy, and still quite a few hundred, maybe like 300 or 400 for the 9.8. Now the rarest one, the one you're really looking out for, which sells raw for like up to like really $100, maybe even a little bit more, is an error variant where it's the basic version, but the hologram, it's blacked out there. The hologram did not take for some reason. This was a fairly common issue in the 90s with these hologram covers. But this one, pretty rare to happen with this book. So for that reason, the black hologram version is worth quite a bit. Like I said, this is just the regular one. I just want to let you guys know about the other versions so you can look out for them. I always do. If I see this book, I pull it out, examine it real closely. I still have not found any of the rare variants underpriced in the wild, but someday I know I'm going to, and I really want them for my personal collection. Moving on, we've got a book that has been hot recently due to a reboot on Disney+. We've got X-Men Adventures number 1. Now this is the book that went along with the storyline of the X-Men animated series. Usually when you see Adventures in the name, it either means it goes along with a television show, such as TMNT Adventures, Batman Adventures, X-Men Adventures like we have here, or it's like kind of made for kids. Like if you're reading any current Star Wars, there's High Republic, and then there's High Republic Adventures, which is a more kid-friendly comic, for the whole family. Anyway, this is X-Men Adventures. Now, this went along with the television show. It kind of mirrors the episodes. And we got news recently that they are rebooting that X-Men television show from the 90s. It ran from, I think, 92 to 97, and they're going to pick up there. It's not even a reboot. It's actually just they're continuing the story. So it's called X-Men 97. It is going to feature the original theme song, which is phenomenal, and the original voice cast, at least most of them. People are so stoked about that. This is the first issue of that run. It's also the first issue of the character Morph, who was made for the TV show. I'm not going to give away any spoilers about it, just in case you haven't seen it yet. Personally, I grew up on it, and I suggest that everyone watches it. It's on Disney+. If you have that, go check it out. Also look out for the newsstand copy of this. It's worth a little bit more. Like I said, this one's kind of in the $15-ish range. It hopped up a little bit. It was on the hot list, and it was like 20, 25, and then it's kind of calmed down. It's probably about 15 to 20 now. But the newsstand version, more in like the $25 to $30 range. As usual, 90s newsstand stuff does, demand a premium due to scarcity. Kind of in that same 15, 20, probably closer to 20 price range here. We got the book that I had in the intro, mainly because I love the cover on this. We got Daredevil 183, and this is a key issue. It's the first battle between Punisher and Daredevil. We did see the two interact multiple times in the Netflix shows, Daredevil, Punisher. Great cover here, love it, and you really can't beat Frank Miller Daredevil. Like, Frank Miller to Daredevil is what Chris Claremont is to X-Men. He put Daredevil on the map. He put out some of the best Daredevil stories, and really, honestly, the most important ones. This is a great book, great cover. Really surprised to see this in a dollar bin. There's a lot of Bronze Age Daredevil stuff that's like filler issues that, it's pretty easy to find them in dollar bins. The Frank Miller run is not really something you often find, especially a Frank Miller key like this. So I was really stoked to pull this out of there. I've got a couple copies of this one, and I'm a big Daredevil collector, so I really got to go through and see what my best copy is. This one is a newsstand, though, and it's relatively high grade, so this might end up being my personal collection copy. We'll see. Another Bronze Age book is next, kind of a little bit more valuable, more like towards 20, maybe even $25. I saw some go on eBay for in the 30s that were really high grade. This one's not. This one's maybe 8.0, 8.5. But this is The Amazing Spider-Man 172. And this is the first appearance of Rocket Racer. We've got an awesome character here. And, Marvel's really going through for the diversity thing. They're really trying to make sure that there's representation for all people. And, adding characters of, that are outside of the typical superheroes that we see, supervillains that we see. So Rocket Racer is one that might show up being a prominent black character from the Bronze Age. I don't really see it being him being like a big part, but he's someone that could eventually show up, I think. And either way, this is just a great Bronze Age ASM key, and for $1, I'm going to take it all day. Like I've been saying over and over again with these books, there's really none of these that I'm not spending $1 on, especially this one. It's ASM. People always are on the lookout for ASM keys. This one does date back all the way to the 30-cent era of the Bronze Age. This next one is an indie book heating up quite a bit, kind of in the $25 range again. We've got Grendel #1. Now, this is not Grendel #1, the first volume. That's a pretty pricey book. That would be the second appearance of Grendel. This is the first appearance of the second Grendel. This is Grendel Volume 2, #1. I think her name is Christine Spar. It's the female version of Grendel. The first one is a dude. And this character, Grendel, the original Grendel, has been optioned. I believe there's something in the works, probably a television show, might be a movie. I'm not sure. I haven't checked up on that in a while. But the first appearance of Grendel has gone up considerably, as well as Grendel #1 from Volume 1. And, as they say, rising tides raise all ships, or something like that. That ended up pulling up this book as well to about the $25 range. Even though there's no word on the female version of Grendel making an appearance or anything like that, there's always speculation on characters, and this is a great one if you can find it for $1. I actually bought a copy for $7 recently. And I did also find this in a dollar bin a couple months ago. So I've got 3 copies of this book now that I've paid less than $10 for all 3. I'm happy about that. I'm going to hold on to them and kind of see what happens with this the Grendel project that they're working on. This next one, really hot book. This is a preview book. This was given away for free on Free Comic Book Day back in 2007. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day book from 2007. Now, this features the first in-print appearance of both Mr. Negative and Jackpot, and they're in this book. It's more of a preview. Free Comic Book Day stuff, they tend to preview out storylines or characters or just try to get people interested. So this was right before the run where those 2 characters made their debut. It's a tough book to get in high grade because of the white cover and because they were just given out for free. So a lot of people kind of tossed them aside or manhandled them or, just in general did not take care of this book. So this one, not a super high grade copy. High grade copies are selling, I looked on eBay, for like in the 40s. This one's probably like more in the like $25, $30, maybe even $35 range. It's got its issues, but still a great book to pick up for $1. The first appearance of 2 characters, we did see a reference to the Feast organization in Spider-Man No Way Home, the trailer. Don't worry, no spoilers, just the trailer. We did see the word Feast, and that is a organization run by Mr. Negative, so maybe there's a little connection where maybe we're going to see that character in the future. I don't know. I can't say, but either way, I'm picking up this book every time I see it for $1. Probably won't ever see it for $1 again. It's a pretty rare one. But this next one, even rarer. This next book really harkens back to my childhood. I love the television show. I've read a couple of the runs, which I found great. I thought it was a great just progression to do, showing the future of Batman. I'm talking Batman Beyond. Now, you might be thinking, number one? No, I'm not that lucky. Number 1, very expensive book, first comic book appearance of Terry McGinnis. I did get the second best one in the original Batman Beyond run. This is the last book in the run, number 6 of 6. This was just a 6-part miniseries to promote the television show at the time that it was on. It did introduce some characters, obviously Terry McGinnis, but also Blight in issue 3. And in this issue, we got the first appearance of Inque, a very cool character. Also, the print run on this book was really, really low. This was, the late 90s. The comic book market had really been hurt during most of the 90s. And this was a kids book. This was related to a cartoon television show that was on, so probably not a whole lot of interest in it, and it was the last book of the run. Usually by the time a run's dwindling down, the print order gets lower and lower, which means there's less out there, less supply. Even if the demand's not super high, the value is going to be higher. I've seen this book go for between $50 and $125 online. This copy is not super high grade, so it's not really in the $125 range, but I think it could be in the $50 to $75 range, especially after I give it a nice clean, get all that any dust and dirt off the white, and give it a good press. It did not have a bag and board on it. This was actually in a local thrift shop. They just had a couple comic boxes mixed in with magazines, and half the stuff was bagged and boarded in old gross bags and boards. Half the stuff was not. Everything was $1. I was so happy to find this, and I pulled it out, and the first thing I saw was it was Batman Beyond, and I was like, oh, cool, Batman Beyond. And I always pick up Batman Beyond stuff for $1, especially the early stuff. And I noticed at the top, this is what you want to look for, the WB logo. That's from the first run. That's when they were really promoting the show. I don't think any other run had that WB logo. So I saw that and I was like, oh, this is the original Batman Beyond run. Oh, I definitely need to get this. And I thought about it and I was like, well, I know First Blight and I know the first issue and I know the second issue. And I actually did not know that this was as valuable as it was. I knew the whole run was, worth picking up for $1 easily. All the books are $15 at least. Probably issue 4 is the least valuable. But I was very surprised to see that this was so much more than I thought it was. Didn't realize it was the first appearance of Inque, and didn't realize the print run was so low. I think it was in like the 20,000s, or maybe even just a little under that. Forget the exact number. I'll put it on the screen right there. Let's put it right there. Yeah, that's the print count according to the internet. But yeah, great book for $1. I advise you always look out for Batman Beyond stuff. I know there's a lot of filler. A lot of the later runs, not really worth anything, but always look out for this first run. WB at the top, and you'll see blank out of 6. So, 1 out of 6. You're probably not going to find that one, but you might find one of the other ones out in the wild for a cheap price. If you've been taking notes on this video and calculating up the value of all these comic books, you'll know that even on the conservative side, this is still about $200 worth of books, and it could be as much as $250, maybe even a little bit more than that. I only spent $1 a book. There's 10 of them here, so I spent $10 and got $200+ worth of comic books. It's all about the thrill of the hunt here. This is why I love diving through dollar bins, back issues, stuff that's been hidden for a while, just going through everything, everywhere I go, and looking for the best deals, hidden treasures, and, sometimes you find nothing, and sometimes you find something like this. Like I said, this was not all from one haul. That would be really good, but this is just a couple months worth that didn't end up in other videos, so I wanted to share them with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I always have fun making these and talking about some great finds that I've had, so make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below, and I'm going to put a couple of videos in the description that also are dollar bin related videos. You can go check them out as well if you're interested in the topic. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.